So He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Many cartoons over the years. Just going to give a little brief review of each one. So we start in 1983 with the Filmation series, which ran for 2 years and had a total of 130 episodes. And of course this started it all and set the benchmark for further cartoons to come. I fondly remember watching it when growing up, and also re-watched it recently as well. Now some may criticise the fact that it's heavy relying on stock animation, but it had, it had that charm, and it had, great characters that we were introduced to, and after all, it came about because it was a way for Mattel to sell their He-Man toy line, which they had bought out. So it was in a way one big advertisement, but a great cartoon. So basically we follow the adventures of He-Man and his masters, Teela and Man-at-Arms and Orko, and his relationship with King Randor and Queen Marlena. We even find out about how Queen Marlena came from Earth originally, and we do get a little bit of a background into some of the characters, especially one memorable episode of Teela's Quest, which I urge you to check out if you haven't seen that one, because it does a lot of backstory into Teela the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and the relationship there with the characters, and that's a really good episode, one of the standout ones that I fondly remember. And of course, at the end of each episode there was always a moral as well. The characters would break the fourth wall and give a moral about what happened in the story, which is always a good thing. This one may seem, like it was aimed at a younger audience, but it was definitely a cartoon that I think, really still stands out well today. So we may criticise the animation. We've got to remember this is early 80s, there wasn't all the technology that we have now. And then when we go into the next cartoon, which is The New Adventures of He-Man, which was in 1990, that only had 65 episodes, so half of what the Filmation series had, one season. Now I do remember watching it growing up, and I remember at the time thinking, oh, I don't like this one so much. And is it just because it was a big departure? Because the storyline basically is that He-Man is summoned to the future, to Primus, a planet where there's these evil mutants sort of taking over, and so He-Man's summoned there to go and help. But unfortunately Skeletor follows He-Man there. Now, so He-Man not only has to battle the mutants, also has to now battle Skeletor as well, and Skeletor indeed teams up with the mutants as well. And of course, because there's new characters in it as well, He-Man finds a new allies to help him and a new family. So you got to get used to all those characters as well. I must confess I haven't watched it since I was a child, so that's something maybe I should rewatch it, and maybe see in a different light, and see how I get on with it on the second watch. With any of these cartoons, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on them, and what your favourite ones are, and what your standout episodes are as well. So yeah, not too much to say about that one, but I will have a re-watch of it and maybe do an individual review of that one sometime. And I know that in the intro, which I have seen since, He-Man says like the battle continues, so it is kind of like a follow-on from the Filmation series. I think there was some problem. I think there was supposed to be originally a continuation for the Filmation series with this New Adventures, but I think there was some rights issue or something. I think there was some problem or something. I think that's why they sort of changed it and went down this new avenue. So that may be one of the reasons. But like I said, I'll give it a watch. Now we then move into the 2000s, and in 2002 to 2004 we have the He-Man and Master Universe series done by Mike Young Productions, and this was shown on Cartoon Network. There's 2 seasons, only 39 episodes unfortunately, because I believe Cartoon Network axed it after a while. Now I rewatched this series recently, and you know, I remember watching it the first time thinking, oh, this is good, and now watching it again I think this is so good. And this is, you know, they've kept true to the Filmation series, but they've also updated it, and it's you could say it aims more at an older audience, but I think it's definitely one that, you know, if you watch the original you'd think, oh, they've done this justice. And I think it's definitely the route you should go down to if you're doing a new He-Man cartoon, such as Revelations, which was my most recent incarnation, which we'll get onto shortly. But this one, the 2002 series, yeah, I think, I mean, if, you know, this He-Man film ever gets off the ground, this would be a good sort of textbook example to look at the 2002 cartoon and go, right, this is how we should do a film, you know, this is how we should do any future series of He-Man now. You get a lot of backstory on the characters, which is good as well, which I like. And the story continues as well, so each episode sort of there's continuity in it, whereas with the Filmation series it was more about standalone episodes. So yeah, I mean, what was good as well, the battles are more intense in the 2002 incarnation. I like the character designs as well. I think they kept them sort of true to the Filmation series, but also updated them. One example that springs to mind is Trapjaw, for example, in the Filmation series would all these different attachments, such as his lasers and his grabbers and whatever else he had, his attachments, he would, you know, screw each one off, and I don't know where he kept them about his person, but to change them. Whereas in this series, you know, they just change, they sort of come back in and just evolve into whatever one he needs to use. And Skeletor's more fierce as well, and they also introduced the Snake Men into it as well, which we get to see them, which is good as well, and we get to see their battles. And the animation is very good as well, and I like, I say, the stories that they done in this series, so definitely recommend a watch of that one as well. And you know, there's not an episode in it I didn't like, to be honest, and it is a shame that it ended so soon. So, bringing us up to date is He-Man Revelations. Much hyped, much anticipated. I'm not going to give any spoilers away if you haven't seen it. I know a lot of people have, and there's a lot of reviews online. I urge you to watch it. All I will say is I was disappointed. I did like the character designs. I say this one also sort of takes influence from the Filmation series. Obviously it was done this year. We've got the first season on Netflix. There's a second season coming, I believe, in November next month, I believe, and I'll probably do a commentary on that and the whole sort of thing. I mean, maybe that's what I'll do, a commentary on each He-Man series, maybe. So it's got 5 episodes so far, and say it's on Netflix at the moment. Now, so I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it, but in the title, obviously Revelations is part of the title, and there are definitely some revelations in it. Character designs, you know, some have changed. I think overall, you know, they've done a good job, and as I say, my criticism without giving it anything away is the storylines. That's all I'll say on that. Like I say, I'll probably do another review, a full review on it shortly. Now, you know, it was, I say, as much hyped and anticipated, this series. So we'll see where the second season takes us, and see what happens there. And then, of course, there also is the He-Man Master Universe, the series that's more aimed at a younger audience, I would say. I've only started watching a couple episodes of it. I will say it's a struggle a bit to watch it. I'm not too keen on the animation style, a bit more anime-like, but you know, if you've got a good storyline, you can look past that, of course. You know, this sort of has, you know, He-Man being sort of brought up, Prince Adam, sorry, being brought up more in the jungle is sort of a different avenue, kind of how the path they went down with the She-Ra series, the new incarnation, where she finds a sword in the woods rather than it being given to her by her brother He-Man. So it's sort of, yeah, separate to the rest of the incarnations, if you like. And I'll try and get through the rest of it and you know, see where it goes. Now, if I was to say overall which cartoon I like the best, you know, they've all got their good points. I say I haven't. Obviously, we've got to wait for the second season of the recent incarnation. I think the Filmation series definitely still stands out as the best because it set the benchmarks, but also the 2002 series is definitely one that I would definitely go for. But I'm definitely going to re-watch the New Adventures of He-Man, the 1990 series as well. Let me know what you think, like I say, of each of these series and the episodes as well. That was just a quick rundown. As I say, I'll probably do a more detailed review on each one maybe. And also I'm going to look at the She-Ra series as well, the original Filmation series, and also the Netflix series as well. And next I'm going to look at some of my He-Man merchandise. So now let's look at some of my He-Man merchandise that I've collected over the years. This first one is a He-Man picture disc, a vinyl picture disc. So you would put it on your record player. It's got two stories on it, Green Terror and Silent Forest. And I assume they were stories done just for the disc. I don't know whether they were from any comic book stories originally. But on the front you've got Skeletor holding his sword, which you very rarely saw in the original cartoon. There was the storyline of He-Man and Skeletor having two parts of a sword, and when they combined it together they'd have the ultimate power. You've got Teela there in her snake costume, which she didn't have in the Filmation 1983 cartoon, but she did in her toy figure, and also He-Man with his axe. And you got Man-at-Arms there with his club, and then you've got Trapjaw there, and then you've got the Sorceress as Saw, because she's outside Castle Grayskull, and that's the form she would appear in. So that's a disc you'd play on your record player, and got this little club leaflet, join Master of the Universe Club for £2.50, a year's membership. And just details of what you could get with it. Okay, so that's that disc. Now next one is an exercise book. I did write a few things in it, and it just shows on the front you've got He-Man battling Skeletor. They've both got their swords. You've got Man-at-Arms again there with his club, and you've got Beastman this time making an appearance. So So that's an exercise book. Oh, and you've got He-Man on the back there as well, in his pose with his axe. Now next we have a Master of the Universe storybook annual. And interesting enough, this is actually exclusive to British home stores. Sadly a UK store that no longer goes anymore. And on the front you've got He-Man, Teela, this time in her more form we're familiar with in the Filmation series. Skeletor down the bottom there. We've got Beastman there as well, who's also got an axe, interestingly. And you've got Castle Grayskull there, He-Man in the middle, and you've also got Orko up there as well. Doesn't say how much this was originally. Sometimes they do put the price on these books. And inside you've got He-Man on Battle Cat, and also Orko with I think that was I want to say something like Jurel, not Jurel as in the Superman, but something similar to that, along that sort of lines. And then you've got the first story there, the Potion of 1,000 Herbs. And again, I think these are exclusive stories just for the book. You've got Teela and Prince Adam there, and Orko in bed, and Teela there by his side. Oh, and then you've got Evil Lynn making an appearance with Skeletor. And then you've got Teela, Man-at-Arms and Prince Adam. And again, Man-at-Arms is holding his club, which was often a feature in the cartoon. He'd often not use it, but because his toy came with it, it was a way of promoting it, because you've got to remember the cartoon, 1983 cartoon, was more or less a big commercial to sell the toys. And then you've got Skeletor's up to something there, and then you've got He-Man and Orko. And then you start getting some character profiles. So you've got a He-Man there. And he's got his shield as well, which I think he only had in 1 or 2 episodes of the original series. But again, it's saying his action figure would have come with. And you've got a bit about Castle Grayskull there as well. About it holding the secrets from the rest of the universe. And of course Prince Adam uses those the power and the secrets from Castle Grayskull to transform into He-Man. And then you've got another story there, Skeletor's Inheritance. Skeletor there with Evil Lynn, and also Merman as well makes an appearance. And you've got the Sorceress appearing to He-Man in a dream. And there on the next page you've got Stratos, and you've also got Fisto, who didn't appear in a lot of episodes. And then we've got some more character profiles. We've got Cringer, who of course is Prince Adam's pet tiger, who transforms into Battle Cat when He-Man gives him the power to do that. You've got Mechaneck, and it basically just says the heroic human periscope, and that's all he's got on his profile. There was space to write something else about him, but nothing's been written there. And interesting enough, in the 2002 incarnation of He-Man cartoon, there was an episode where Mechaneck sort of feels a bit down. He feels a bit left out because of he thinks his power of being a periscope is not very strong power compared to the other Masters of the Universe. So it's interesting, that's all they wrote about him, and they could have written a lot more, because Cringer's got quite a bit there. And then we've got another story, City of Emeralds, Triclops there, and then down the bottom we've got Prince Adam with Tila and some children. And then Triclops and Skeletor indeed up to something. I've just noticed that the children are now in a vehicle there, and they look like mini Prince Adam, same haircut, and same colour clothes, and evil Lynn's up to something. And then you've got He-Man there commanding the power. And then you've got a profile on Skeletor, the evil fiend who lives in a fortress within Snake Mountain. Here he and his evil warriors make their wicked plans to conquer Eternia. However, they know that at first they must conquer He-Man and Castle Grayskull. We've also then got a profile on Triclops. And he could turn the bit on the top of his head to use different powers, such as shooting lasers. Now we've got another story, The Hidden Village. And then you've got Beastman, Skeletor, probably plotting something, or Skeletor belittling Beastman as he often would in the cartoon. And then you've got Prince Adam and Cringer relaxing as they often would be, and Tila there as well. And then there's Prince Adam and Tila with Stratos flying above. Oh, and there's a nice battle scene with He-Man on Battle Cat, Skeletor there as well, and also Beastman. And then we've got some more profiles. I say profiles because they've only got one line as well. You've got Spycore, Untouchable Master of Evil Combat, who didn't appear in many episodes either, and Whiplash, the evil Towel Thrashing Warrior. And the next story is very interesting because it's Horde's Revenge. Now what's interesting about that is because although He-Man crossed over with the She-Ra series, the Filmation series, Horde was an enemy known to She-Ra, so it's interesting that there's a story with Horde in here with He-Man, although in the 2002 series Horde does make an appearance as well. And you've got Zodak there with He-Man, and then you've also got Sorceress there with He-Man there as well. I need to have a read of these stories actually again, and oh no, this is interesting. Now you've got Mechanic there with Stratos. Now interesting down here you've got this character who is Jitsu. Now he only appeared I think in literally one episode of the Filmation cartoon because he was considered a bit too stereotype of Japanese, so he was actually dropped. I believe he is also known as Chopper as well, so it's interesting he's made an appearance in here. You got Snake Mountain there as well. And then the story continues and we see He-Man battling Horde there. And you got He-Man and Man-at-Arms there as well. And then in the back you got Skeletor and Merman just sitting around. They look like they're both surprised or angry at something. So that's the storybook angle there. Now I have this video. Fortunately, the cover's worn off a bit at the top. He-Man and Master of the Universe. 2 stories there: Happy Birthday, Roberto, and the Battle of the Dragons. And this is from the Filmation series. You've got Evil Lynn and He-Man on the back there. And this is by the Video Collection, which did a lot of the children's sort of franchises. And in case you forgot what a videotape looks like. But it's nice to keep these things, you know, even though we don't really use videos anymore and they're all available on DVD. It's nice to have them. And although He-Man's holding his sword in the sky, it looks like he's actually holding the logo up. And then, of course, we advanced onto DVDs. And I've got this DVD collection here. I like the way they've enhanced the artwork to make it sort of like, that's not what a cartoon looked like, but it does look very enhanced there. And this is a 3-volume box set. These are the original, the sort of first series of the Filmation cartoon, because you've got the Cosmic Comet, you've got Shaping Staff, Disappearing Act, Diamond Ray of Disappearance, She-Demon of Phantos, Teela's Quest, a lot of the early classic episodes, Colossus Awakes, Reign of the Monster. You've got a lot of good episodes there, and you've got extra features as well. Fan commentary tracks on several of the stories, as well as character profiles for He-Man, Skeletor and Teela, fan art gallery, production gallery, series guide gallery, and you got an animatic for Reign of the Monster as well, so a lot of good extras on there as well. Now interesting, the DVD is Parent Guardian, whereas the video was Universal. Now, of course we are probably all familiar with the pop figures. They've done pop figures of everything now, the Funko Pops, TV, film, even the Royal Family. You've got loads and loads of different ones, and pop stars as well. I've got 2 here. Now this one is of Stratos, of the bird people. Of course they've got a familiar big head as the pop figures do. And I've also got Evil Lynn, one of Skeletor's baddies that does or tries to do the bidding for him. And what's interesting about Evil Lynn, when she takes a sort of headpiece off, she's actually got white hair underneath, which is revealed in a couple of the early episodes of the Filmation series, and indeed in the recent He-Man Master of the Universe Revelations incarnation. And on the back it shows you can also get Beastman, He-Man, Skeletor, Merman, Orko, which would be an interesting one with a big head. So I will look out for more of them. But yes, that's Stratos and Evil Lynn. Now finally, this is my most recent thing I acquired. Now this is a really good book. It's a complete guide to the classic animated series of He-Man and She-Ra, and I will talk about the Filmation She-Ra cartoon and the more recent Netflix series in another video, so people look out for that. This is a book, and this is by James E. Tock, someone, if you're not familiar with, who's a long time He-Man and She-Ra fan. He's done commentaries on several episodes on YouTube. and also, and I believe on the DVD I showed you, he does commentary on there as well. And so he's a big fan. He also sells some animation sales on eBay as well, so he is a big fan, and he's put this guide together which is literally on every episode of He-Man and She-Ra, the original series. You've got for literally for every single episode, it gives you a detail of the cast, the synopsis, a moral, because of course each episode featured a moral at the end. And you've got trivia, you've got deleted scenes. It's a great book, and I encourage anyone that loves He-Man and She-Ra to purchase it. You know, there's also some animation cells as well. So like here you've got some there, which is very interesting. You know, and they give you deleted scenes at the back. There's some bits about episodes that never made it, and there's a lot in there. So it's a great book, and I was very pleased when I got it. So I hope you enjoyed that little look at my merchandise. I do have some other things. I've got a He-Man bag somewhere as well. Like I said, I'll be doing a look at the She-Ra series very soon, so keep an eye out for that video. And let me know your thoughts on the He-Man cartoons I talked about earlier, and any of this merchandise. Feel free to comment on it, and if you have any of it as well, or what you have as well, if you have any of the figures, for example. I do want to get my hands on some of the He-Man figures as well, and I'll showcase them in a future video. So if you enjoyed the video, do please give it a like, as it helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done, and thank you if you have, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.